Hello there guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Added Time, a new segment I'm doing on the channel moving forward. Likely always on a Monday after the weekend's game, and luckily this time it is a happy Monday. Always great to start a week after a weekend where Chelsea have won, and especially a performance and result like that against Everton yesterday. A beautiful performance. Chelsea exceeding their XG, expected goals, which is a rarity this season, and I think a really good sign, hopefully, based on the last two performances for the rest of the season. And we're going to need it if we are to make the top four. And I've got lots of content coming out not only this week in the lead up to the Aston Villa game, but also for the remainder of the season. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and a notification bell to never miss an upload on all things Chelsea. Also hit that like button as well if you enjoyed yesterday's performance, because it was absolutely brilliant. And one of the things I want to touch on, and sort of my question of the day for this video, is will Billy Gilmour replace Jorginho? Billy Gilmour has been exceptional in the last two games. 2 man of the match performances. He slotted right in and he looks absolutely worth those 2 man of the match performances. He has been brilliant. He's looked cool, composed, and I just think it's interesting to me the future of Jorginho and the future of who is going to sit at the base of Chelsea's midfield. Frank has used the 4-3-3 in the last 2 games, and Gilmour has sat at the centre of that, where Jorginho usually sits, and he's been exceptional. This stat yesterday from the Cancelo, which was about Gilmour's performance: Billy Gilmour covered 12.62 kilometres, more than any other Chelsea player. He also completed 74 passes, which was more than anyone else, 93% accuracy. And it was one of the things I talked about in my review of the game, which you can go and check out. Gilmour might offer something that Jorginho doesn't, in the sense that he has that balance between defence and creation. And I love watching Jorginho play, but he can be bypassed quite easily. He can be outrun sometimes, especially in bigger games against really good midfields. And that's something hopefully Gilmour can present to Lampard, and could be the difference there in terms of getting Gilmour more minutes, and could potentially see Jorginho leave in the future. And of course, right now you look at that midfield, 2 number 8s yesterday in front of Billy Gilmour in Ross Barkley and Mason Mount, who performed really well. And you look going forward, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, how that's all going to play out, and could that be the future of Chelsea's midfield, especially in games at home where we need to be more attacking? Could that be the solution? But what I will say, I'm a big fan of Jorginho. I always have been. I am biased towards Jorginho because I love watching him play football, and just the story of Jorginho. I loved how he, came back after so much scrutiny. And I do think people easily forget that in our best winning run of the season, Jorginho was at the heart of Chelsea's midfield with Mateo Kovacic, the chemistry those two have had. And I think as well, it's maybe putting too much pressure on Billy Gilmour. I always think it's either one of the other extremes currently with young players. You're either really harsh on them, like Mason Mount recently, or you're claiming they're the greatest of all time, like Billy Gilmour. And I know some of it is done in jest, a lot of it is done in sort of a humorous way, and it is done from a good place. But I just hope people don't put too much pressure on Billy Gilmour. We need to remember his age. He's done incredibly well. He looks so much more mature than his age, and his size as well. Considering his size, he is so physical, which I love to see, as well as Lampard puts it himself. Small in physique but big in character, which is a wonderful quote and really sums up Billy Gilmour. But I'm just interested and intrigued because Jorginho is a specialist player. He really is. He's a bit like Marcos Alonso in a sense, in terms of Marcos Alonso's amazing as a left wing back, but maybe in other systems he doesn't do it as well, and he can be exploited. And Jorginho is really good in a 4-3-3, which we're playing at the moment, and of course he's suspended at the moment. But considering the sort of style of football Lampard wants to play, which might not be so solely focused on ball retention and possession, and sort of the style of football that Jorginho is used to, a more intense style of football, could Jorginho struggle to get back into the team? And he's going to have to fight for his place once again, like every player in Lampard's squad. I'm just intrigued to see your thoughts. Do you think this is the beginning of the end for Jorginho as a first team player at Chelsea, or do you think Jorginho will come back into form? And do you think potentially, you can't rule anything out this season, Jorginho and Billy Gilmour could play together in central midfield? I'm really interested to hear. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And also, I just wanted to quickly touch on a player I didn't do as much on in my review yesterday, which was Ross Barkley, and talk about who man of the match was. Of course, it was given to Billy Gilmour, but I think you could have easily given given it to a lot of attacking players. And probably one of those players who needs more praise is Ross Barkley. I thought he was absolutely brilliant once again, and 2 back-to-back good performances. Once again, and Nazar Kinsella coming up with the good stats here. Ross Barkley outstanding again. He had 3 shots, 2 on target, 2 assists, 6 key passes, a 98.3 pass accuracy. That's more than Billy Gilmour in central midfield, the highest in every department among the CFC starters, the most decisive player on the pitch. And decisive is a word you wouldn't usually associate with Ross Barkley, but that is what he has been in the last 2 games in the Merseyside double. He loves playing against his local clubs, and I'm really happy for Ross. I really am, because he looked like a player a few weeks ago that was just, I think a lot of us were ready to sort of go, you know, I think he probably needs to move on in the summer, and that may still be the case. So much is up in the air with Chelsea, but I'm happy for Ross that he's come into form and he's having the best days of his Chelsea career. And considering the season it is, anyone can get minutes. It really is like that, and I think that's great for players who are out of sort of favour. I look at players like Tomori currently, who's not getting a lot of minutes. I fully believe if he has a good run of form, he can get back in the team. If he gets an opportunity, we've seen that with Lampard, he's willing to give anyone a game, and if they take their chance, they'll get more minutes. And I think Ross, this is what we want to see. If he can be more clinical, if he can be more decisive, that, you know, he got 2 assists yesterday, especially the first one for that second goal. Absolutely brilliant first time pass. And as we've said, it's something I've reiterated a lot on this channel, and I'm sure many of you have. Watching Ross on a football pitch, sometimes it's really frustrating and irritating because you can see him thinking too much and he's doubting himself. Well, he hasn't been doubting himself the last 2 games, and he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been one of Chelsea's top performers, and performances like this, he deserves more minutes in the first team like any other players. If it's a meritocracy, Ross Barkley deserves to be starting, and I just want to give more praise. And let me know your thoughts. What do you think Ross Barkley's career is going to look like at Chelsea moving forward? Do you think he has a longer future than maybe a lot of us predicted, or do you think this is just a short spell and he will fall back into his old ways? And as well with Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Mateo Kovacic, of course, still to come back from injury, how do you think that midfield will shape up, a bit like when we were talking about Billy Gilmour moving forward? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. So that is it for added time. Let me know your thoughts on the format of this show. I probably want to take your questions and topics moving forward, what you want to see discussed if I haven't touched on them in other videos. But yeah, brilliant performance yesterday, really buzzing, and now we look forward to that game on Saturday against Aston Villa. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.